Hello, everyone. Welcome to Will's World. I'm here with Mike, and I'm also here with Alan. And I'm remote right now. We're talking about the issue of open carry. I wouldn't say issue, but the topic of open carry. Uh, what do you gentlemen like to start on? First of all, well, do you want me to start on first of all the laws when it comes to open carry? Because we need to know the laws before we talk about how we feel about the issue. Of
Exactly.
course, the law went in effect yesterday, September 25th, 2025, which it lifted the ban on open carry.
Yeah. So did the law go into effect, or did the laws be taken out?
Well, it was actually removed because that was one of the things that it violated everyone's constitutional rights, at least in the state of Florida.
Right. So there wasn't a law that went into effect. There was laws that were removed from the
That was
books.
removed, right,
Yeah. Okay.
and removed
Okay.
from the books because basically, um, back in the day, or at least before the 25th, you can walk from a campsite or a fishing site, open carry, or even on a range or your private business, private property. With open carry, you can have a pistol on your hip. You can have a rifle strapped around you, like just as long as it has a sling around your chest, and you can walk around with that firearm to protect yourself against basically bears, any type of animals, wildlife, and maybe even someone trespassing on your property. Okay. But yeah, I do believe there's going to be some confusion because we cannot, of course, open carry the same place we can't conceal carry, which would be courthouse. The courthouse, police stations,
It's government buildings, right? Not just
government
court.
buildings,
Government
right?
buildings. Yeah.
Polling
Schools.
places, bars. Another one's bars too. You don't want to walk into, of course, a bar with a gun.
And actually, it's a place where the sale of alcohol is the mainstay of the business of the place. Because,
Right,
yeah, yeah.
right. You can walk into somewhere. It's like you went to Chili's and you were sitting in the family section where they have all the different booths and stuff. Yeah, that's fine. That you have a gun on you, uh, per se. Now, of course, you can have it open, where it's on your hip. Now, the laws also state that if you're asked to leave, you have to leave because that's private property. So,
Right.
certain places will say, hey, yeah, I don't want you walking around with a firearm. You must leave. So, that's one of the things you have to abide by that. And if you don't, it's one of those things where if you are carrying a firearm and you are trespassing, that can move it from a misdemeanor to a felony because that is armed trespassing.
Yep.
So when you're trespassing and you have a firearm on your hip, it can cause more problems for you legally.
Basically, the laws, the way I understand it was done, everything that we had to obey in concealed
Right.
still participates in open.
That's true. That is true.
Except for the fact that you don't have to conceal it. That's the only difference. So if wherever it said you couldn't, you still can't.
Right.
But some of the differences, though, are with our concealed permits. We
With
have reciprocal
reciprocity.
right in other states.
38
Right.
states with Florida have reciprocal agreements,
Right.
and that's not open carry.
Right. Yeah.
Right. It's not
Open
open
carry, there's no
carry.
reciprocal agreement.
And you have to have a Florida permit
Right.
to enjoy that reciprocal agreement.
Right. You have to have that permit, and that's the reciprocity between, like, let's say if you go and travel to Georgia, you can have your concealed firearm on you for protection if you're traveling, and the laws would still apply. But it's always good that wherever you're traveling to check each and every state law to make sure that you're in compliance with every law in every state. Because if
Yeah,
not,
because like if you're one of the issues is for me, if I'm driving and I'm traveling from Florida to Maine,
oh boy,
I have to pass through New York,
right,
and that's a problem.
that's a huge problem, right?
Yeah, because you can't have any concealed or anything
No.
in
When it
New
comes
York.
to all the guns that we are allowed to have here in the great state of Florida, in New York, you would be arrested.
Yeah.
Now, doesn't the law say that we can travel through all those states, but we can't stop in the ones that say you can't stop. In other words, the federal law, if you're on a federal highway,
Hmm.
says you can go there, even in New York or New Jersey.
Right.
But if you stop and get caught,
Hmm.
You can't
that's
stop for gas.
that's known. Yeah, I mean, if you stop for the gas or get a flat tire, or whatever in those states, and you get an officer coming to assist you and finds that you have a weapon, you're done.
Yes, and that's also with. I'm not telling someone not to disclose that information, but if the firearm is encased and locked away,
Yep.
uh, unless you're asked that question, I would not divulge that. I would not maybe disclose
Mm-hmm.
that information. Right? I mean,
Well,
Yeah, don't answer questions you haven't been asked.
right,
yeah.
right.
Yeah.
Because if
Oh,
you're not intending on using that firearm, and hopefully you're not trying to use it on the officer, then it wouldn't be an issue, and you don't have any warrants, which you shouldn't have a firearm in the first place.
right.
Mm-hmm.
All right. So, uh, in my opinion,
Mm-hmm.
the concealed carry permit carries more weight than just open carry because you get, I don't want to call them rights, you get privileges
Right.
beyond what you get for open carry in the state of Florida.
Right, right. Because basically, in the state of Florida, what we have is constitutional carry. Basically, if you could purchase a gun or purchase a firearm, there's of course the 5 day waiting period, and or you call it a cool down type of period. Oh yeah, you're getting sick, huh? But yeah, it's a cool
I
down
hope
period.
not.
I hope not either, man. Come on, you're eating so well and everything. Yeah. But no, yeah, there's a cool down period, and that's meant for the background check. Make sure you don't have any type of mental health issues that didn't find when it comes to background checks and so on. But yeah, it's to make sure you don't also have an injunction. An injunction is another thing that you can't have a firearm and purchase a firearm, have an injunction, and basically go out to kill or harm someone that of course the courts are trying to protect at the moment.
Mm-hmm.
That's in theory now. Okay, that's all in theory, because someone could always get a firearm and come after you. It's not legal, but you can still purchase a firearm in other ways. Now,
Well, the truth of it is that if you're going to go break the law, you don't care about the law to start with.
no, you don't. It doesn't matter about the law. It doesn't matter about repercussions. If you're going that far to go to try to kill someone or to try to pull a gun on someone, then yeah, you already know, or maybe you're out of your mind and you're not thinking at the time. But trust me, they're not thinking about the consequences when someone's coming after you. That's like someone breaks into your house. Someone breaks into your house after hours when your cars are in the driveway and the lights getting ready to go out. They're coming for you.
Yeah.
If they break into your house during the day when no one's home, they want your stuff. Just remember that.
That's good advice. The strange thing is, and Alan knows, I worked the last 2 weekends. I worked 2 different gun shows,
Mm-hmm.
and I was surprised of the lack of attendance for two reasons. One,
Mm-hmm.
we're in the period of time in Florida that there's no sales tax
Right.
on firearms, ammo, and all that stuff between now and the end of the year, and that just started up recently. And with this open carry, I thought there'd be people looking, at least even if they weren't buying, looking, because now they can look around and see what they want to carry with.
Right.
Um, but I didn't see that increase of people coming in to take a look for either of those two reasons, and I was surprised.
I'll be honest. Yeah, I'm surprised too. You don't see a bunch of people walking around with guns on their hips and going to, like, I don't know, the Cheesecake Factory or something. Open carry, at some Walmart tactical gear or something. And I think a lot of people are freezing and thinking, wait a minute. Now, we're not saying everyone. I think a lot of people are thinking about the legal aspect of it. Let's say the civil lawsuits that could be, because it could be a civil lawsuit that could be filed against you, and you could lose everything just over a stupid decision. And when it comes to carrying, it's I'd like to say if I'm walking around somewhere and I have my weapon concealed and then my shirt rises up and you can see maybe my firearm, I want to use open carry for that reason to say, okay, oh well, it was a mistake. You saw my, the butt of my gun or the muzzle of my gun on my belt, and then it was hooked in. Yeah, okay, big deal. Whatever. Move on with your life. Instead of the police running by and then trying to run me down, then I show ID and my hands up. I'll do it the same way. Yeah, I don't care. I have a badge and I'm an investigator, but I have my hands up. They don't know that. So I have my
Right.
hands up or something like that. I've never, and knock on wood, there's nothing in here, but yeah, I've never had that happen. But on the other hand, it's one of those things where I would use it more towards an accidental exposure of the firearm. You know.
That's a good thing too. I think the big issue that I hear in talking to different people and listening to some of our sheriffs who
Hmm.
are very Second Amendment pro people
Yeah.
saying, let's be cautious about this.
Right.
Okay. Is that basically we know we're living in a world with a lack of common sense.
Right. Right.
And that's the issue that I'm concerned about.
Hmm.
You get people who think they're living in the Wild West.
Right.
No,
Right.
we're not in the Wild West.
It's not. You're right.
That's it's not. And
Mhm.
if you're in an environment that you think that might be beneficial to you, I'm not sure which environment that would be. Okay, but not just to go out there and think you're going to scare people because you're wearing it. That's
Right.
not what's going to happen.
Right.
I mean, one of the sheriffs that was on and posting on Facebook the cautions that we got to run into is that open carry also makes it easier for the opponent to get your weapon.
That is true. That is true. You're walking around with the gun on your hip. There's responsibilities. I don't know. That has kind of like, it gives me anxiety having something like that because, even if you're in law enforcement, you're open carrying, you're always thinking about keeping your gun side away. The general public doesn't even realize this type of tactic where you want to keep your gun side away so no one, if they try to reach for your gun, you have enough time to grab that person, put them to the ground, and you could draw your own firearm. Yeah,
Right.
I will always conceal carry. Yeah, I'm not gonna walk around with it showing that, so it's letting everyone know because crime is all about opportunity. They see a gun on you, either they're going to try to take the gun from you to use it on you and then use it for other crimes, or they know, well, I know I have to shoot this guy. When I walk up to him, immediately try to get him off guard and try to shoot him to kill him, and then we could take his gun too, and so on. So yeah, it prepares the criminal for any type of attack, and I'm not trying to do that.
Mm-mm.
No,
Fond of
and
this.
you're also advertising the defense that you have.
Right,
So
right,
a criminal or whoever, they're already alerted to what's going on
that's correct.
instead
That's correct.
of being surprised.
That's correct.
I think, yeah. And I don't know the specifics, but I know in a couple of states that already had open carry, a couple of them are having no issues. And I
Right.
think those are probably states that have had it for years and years and years, and it's part of the culture of those states. But the
It.
states that added it, and when it's not part of the culture, is where you run into trouble.
Mm-hmm. That's right. I was a bondsman years ago. I was a bondsman. I would go and have to travel to different states to recover bail fugitives. And I've been to places like Texas. I've been to Oklahoma. I've been to Ohio, and all these different places where you can actually open carry. Um, I didn't. You know what? I've only seen one person ever open carry in those states. One person, and it didn't look really too wrapped, too tightly. But um, and
They should have been closed, right?
oh yeah. I've joked around with somebody before, and they said, "Yeah, we have open carry." I decided to carry mine, concealed, and I'm like, "Oh, really?" And I'm like, "I just wondered why. What's the reason there?" I was just curious, just saying, to see what they was going to say. And he says, "Oh, I wanted to be a surprise. All of us are carrying, but we're just not going to let you know that." I said, "That's of course, the wisest way to go." Um, when I used the element of surprise catching people in these different states. Yeah, no, I wasn't carrying it openly unless I was ready to jump on that person. I threw the vest on, had my duty belt on, I had open carry. That's so easy access to my gun, my taser, um, OC spray, and everything else. But no, I was not going to walk up instantly just like that and they see me like a mile away. I was fast. I was younger. I was fast, but I wasn't that fast. Yeah.
Well, I'm torn on the subject because I believe we should not have our constitutional rights impinged
Right.
in any way.
Right.
But I'm torn on this because I haven't seen a high level of responsibility in the general public that leads me to believe that they're going to be safe with it. And although, like you said, I haven't seen anybody open carry so far either.
No.
But it's I don't know. It's a double-edged sword, I think.
And trying to get someone to take responsibility for their actions in these days. Yeah. Well, it's like pulling teeth.
Yeah, and it's a problem if you have dentures.
Are you kidding me? Like, I'll just take them out. Here you go.
Well, you guys know that I'm in the firearm accessory business. I don't sell any actual firearms. I do sell weapons, but not firearms. And for the couple of years I was doing it at a location down in Daytona, I just saw too many people that would come up and we try to talk to them about non-lethal weapons for protection and stuff like that. And they said, "No, I'd rather kill."
Mm,
okay.
Yeah.
I said, "Do you understand what that really means?" Okay. Are you trained enough to know the difference between somebody that might need that type of action versus somebody who doesn't?
Yeah. Yeah.
I said, and I tell them, why do you think police officers carry two different types of weapons?
That's right. That's
because
correct.
not every situation calls for a bullet.
Right. Thank you.
But it might call for stopping somebody. So you have different ways of stopping them and protecting yourself.
You want to
And
stop
for the average public, I think that's what they need. That's my thought.
I'm sorry you went out there for a minute. What was that, Les?
Repeat what you said there at the end.
My thought is that the average public is not trained on the differential between when you need a bullet or when you need some other way of protecting.
That's correct.
Okay. And more often than not, I'm not talking about somebody like you said earlier, breaking into your house at night when the lights are off and stuff.
Right.
I'm talking about every day out on the road where open carry will be, if it's going to be.
Right.
I mean, it's always been open carry in your home.
Right, of course.
Okay.
Of course.
So that part doesn't change. What changes is the ability to know the difference between what would need to be a bullet versus some other way of protection.
I agree.
And open carry, to me, it frightens me a little bit if we don't get people's mindset. You can carry open. That's your guaranteed right.
Right.
But make sure you understand when it's to be used or not used.
I totally agree. And it's just discretion. And it's, I don't know, people are just quick to just pull out a gun and say, even on our posting, remember where we were doing the shooting? We have to make that video. We have to put that out there. It was great. You were center mass all the time. I mean, it was great. Okay. Now, I have people posting certain comments saying, well, I would like to use this. I would like to use a hollow tip and just, blow them away. I'd rather shoot them. If you can stop someone without killing them, that would be the best method. If you have to killing someone is the last resort. And I agree with you. It's not something you want to do. If, let's say, it turns out there's a scenario where you kill someone and you can turn around and say, oh gosh, okay, this person, there was a huge misunderstanding or something. You can't bring that person back.
No.
Done. Yeah.
You can't. And we're not trained. I used to tell people, when I took my concealed weapons class, and I do have a concealed weapon, I can use it if I need to.
Yep.
I've got the permit. I said, but that was, when I took that class, was probably 15 years ago. Okay. Where they mentioned if you pull it, you use it.
That's right.
But have I given in the last 15 years much thinking about the time where I might have to use it and how to have that my mind set properly to do it? No.
Right. No
And I don't
one
think the
normally
average
does that.
person
Right.
does. Yeah.
Right. The average person does. I never think about having to use my firearm on someone on a daily basis. Some people are just thinking on a daily basis that, oh, well, I'm going to have to shoot this guy, shoot that person, shoot that. No, that's not normal. That's not normal at all. It's supposed to be for self-defense. That's what concealed carry. That's what open carry. When we have citizens, we're citizens. We have the right to protect ourselves. We're
Yes.
not talking about you have the right to, run someone down, shoot them because of, well, maybe they said something you didn't like or looked at you funny. You can't do that. But a lot of people don't understand that. You will go to prison and you'll lose all of your rights if you think that the gun on your hip allows you to be the bad man, to be a tough guy, and run people down and bullet someone. You will go to prison, and you barely see daylight. If you kill someone, that's it. You're done for, and then you can lose
That's right.
everything that you work hard for in a civil suit too, as well.
Yeah. I mean, it is, I agree 100% with Alan. A lot of our constitutional rights have been unofficially amended, and by state and this and that, and we deserve that right. But we have to understand our responsibility.
Right.
Okay, rights don't come without responsibility,
That's correct.
and if we can do that, if we can do it correctly, then it's fine.
That's correct.
So I think right now the most important thing, and I appreciate some of the sheriffs that I've been seeing online talking about our responsibilities, how to do this responsibly.
Right.
Okay, understand, as you started, what's the law? What can or can't we do? What does open carry give us beyond concealed carry?
Right.
Only to carry it open. That's the only difference.
That's all it does. And it's really, like you said, it's really for, I think, in my mind, it's more about, if you, like, your shirt rides up and your gun is visible, you don't have to have the drama of the police being called and, and so on.
So let me ask you on that. What is what was, I guess, the law regarding concealed carry, and you bend over, do whatever, and your shirt rides up and it becomes visible? What is the law surrounding that,
Oh,
or was?
worst case scenario, you would have the police called on you. They would approach you. They would put you in cuffs, and it would be up to the discretion of the police officer to detain you. And also they run a background to make sure that you're not a convicted felon. You do have the right to own a firearm. They would actually stop you, and you'd be into the legal system. It's not fun, and you could be arrested for that because that was the actual line between concealed and open carry. So you've been brandishing a firearm inside of a public place, you can get in some serious trouble. And we're not even talking about discharging the firearm. If it fell out of your holster somehow, and then it went off, yeah, you're done for. But like I said, it's just about responsible gun ownership and proper care of your firearm, and handling.
Yeah, the key was that you didn't want even your weapon to be printed, as the term used. It can be concealed, can be in your pants in a holster, but if the outline of it's there, that's still a no-no.
Oh yeah, they can still call the police on you on that one. Yeah.
So now they can't.
No.
I was a motorcyclist, and the big issue was on motorcycles. If your jacket flew open, your shirt went open, and somebody was driving by and saw that, they call the cops. Next thing you know,
that's it.
Pull it over.
And I mean, a motorcycle, the crazy part is that, they had certain laws when it came to a private conveyance, which a motorcycle is a private conveyance, but you're not going to put it in the saddlebags, or you're not going to put it underneath the seat. If you're in trouble, you need it right there on your hip, or your, appendix, or, any type of, your where you carry your firearm.
Right.
No, you're right. That's a very good example. That's an excellent example.
Oh, thank you. That's it for today.
That's it for today. Oh, you're done now.
Yeah.
That was my primary example.
He got his
today.
kudos.
I got my kudos.
Yeah, that was very good.
Well, we're just about out of time anyway, Will.
Right, sounds good. We're out of time, but if you guys have any questions, leave a comment. You can, I want you to go ahead and subscribe and like anyway. But yeah, if you have any questions, feel free to ask. It's an open forum. We rather help you guys out rather than like you find out the hard way. And hey, thanks for tuning in to Will's World. Yeah, and have a great day.
It's always been a pleasure.
Oh,
Bye now.
bye bye.